over to you, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Scott Lai, Director General of the Department of NGO International Affairs from MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'm very honored to be here today. And first of all, I'd like to share with you that I have been serving in foreign service for more than 31 years, starting from lots of black hairs to lots of gray hairs. And then I figured out one thing, which is foreign affairs is not only for we diplomats. We have enough gray hairs. Foreign affairs is for everyone. Everyone can do his part or her part to help. 1 year ago, before I took office, for your reference, I did not have so many gray hairs. Because I did not know that in Taiwan we have so many NGOs. We have about 90,000 NGOs. If you count population in Taiwan, 24 million, divided by 90,000, almost every 260 people in Taiwan own an NGO. And why we have so many NGOs? That's because in 1987, Taiwan, we lifted martial law, became a free society. And since then, the number of NGOs has been booming. And these NGOs are also very dynamic and energetic. For example, in 1971, the year that ROC Taiwan was forced to leave UN, we were members of 27 IGO, international governmental organizations. And last year, 2018, Taiwan, we are members of 58 IGO, but Taiwan's NGO have participated in 3,068 INGO last year. So 3,068 versus 58, and more importantly, these NGOs, they cover almost every area. Anything not flying in the air, running on the road, or swimming in the water, anything that you can think about, there are some Taiwan NGOs doing it. And in order to cooperate with the dynamic and energetic Taiwan NGO, so MOFA established the Department of NGO International Affairs in the year of 2000, when President Tian was the minister in that time. And the missions of my department are, the first mission, to help Taiwan NGO participate in international activities, including first, financially sponsor Taiwan NGO to attend international meetings overseas. For example, 2017, 1,023 NGO came to my department asking for financial assistance. And last year, 2018, 943 NGO came to my department asking for help. And second, we also help Taiwan NGO hold large international meetings in Taiwan. By definition, what I meant, large international meeting is over 100 people attend, and at least 1/3 of them are foreigners. For example, 2017, 141 large international meetings were held in Taiwan, ranking number 7th in Asia, number 32nd in the world. And 2018, 158 large international meetings were held in Taiwan, and many of them are related to NGO activities. As for our second mission, is to help Taiwan NGO engage in international cooperation projects. I will explain a little bit later. And our third mission is to help capacity building of Taiwan NGO. For example, since 2004, we have been holding seminars to educate people who are interested in serving NGO in Taiwan. Until last year, 2018, more than 2,000 people have attended the seminar. And since 2005, we have been sending staff members of Taiwan NGO to do internship at large NGO overseas. And until last year, 58 people have completed their internship. And since 2009, we have been organizing a Taiwan NGO delegation to attend the annual conference of American Council for Voluntary International Action in Washington, D.C. to help Taiwan NGO connect with INGO and look for future cooperation opportunities. And this year, I will be leading the delegation in June. And the delegation is composed of 9 leaders of NGO from different areas. And this year is also the first year since 2009 that Taiwan NGO delegation is able to present at the workshop. At present, Taiwan NGO have more than 400 projects going on globally, about 200 projects in Asian Pacific region, about 89 projects in Africa. And all these projects can be categorized into 5 areas, including public policy, medical care, environmental protection, humanitarian aid, and social welfare. So to some extent, we can say that it is Taiwan's NGO that bring Taiwan government to every corner of the world. And Taiwan government is also very pleased to cooperate with Taiwan NGO to help people who are in need. Because when we are helping people, we not only can spread out love from Taiwan NGO to every part of the world, we can also enhance Taiwan's international visibility. And next, I'd like to take a few examples to demonstrate how we Taiwan NGO cooperate with Taiwan government to help people in Africa. The first example I'd like to mention is the ACC, the Amitabha Care Center. It's an international humanitarian organization founded by Taiwanese Buddhist monks. It focuses on integration of African native culture and Chinese culture to help orphans in Africa. Since 2003, it has established 6 centers in Africa, has helped more than 9,000 orphans in Africa. And MOFA started cooperating with ACC in 2013 by supporting 16 teachers to teach Chinese in those centers. And I will show you photos. This photo is showing that children, they are studying Chinese using the textbook provided by Taiwan government. And some high school graduates are selected to study college in Taiwan so they can learn skills and go back to their home country to serve. And next example I'd like to show you is the Picasso Foundation. This is the Christian NGO. It's committed to providing access to clean and safe water, building up sanitary facilities and toilets in primary school in Malawi, and also promoting health, knowledge for girls, women, and community. And I will show you some photos. The first photo shows that the foundation was doing a 2-day training program to promote health knowledge in primary school and community. And the second photo shows that the foundation organized a campaign to promote the use of reusable sanitary pads for girls and women. And next example I'd like to show you is the Chiji Foundation. Chiji was founded by Master Zheng Yan in 1966 It has more than 10 million members in 57 countries. And it has lots of resources, more than you can imagine. I have met Master Zheng Yan 3 times since I took office last year. And I was told by leadership in Tzu Chi that basically they don't need government resources, but they welcome government to take advantage of their resources to help people together. So I can say Tzu Chi, they are helping people without border, without color, and without religion. The most recent case is when the devastating cyclone hit Eastern Africa last March. Tzu Chi went there to help right away. And they plan to help more than 25,000 people over there. And the way that Taiwan government cooperates with Tzu Chi is by providing rice to Tzu Chi, so they can distribute rice to the people who need the most. For example, last year, 2018, Taiwan government, we provided more than 5,000 tons of rice to Tzu Chi, and more than 3,000 tons of rice went to Africa. And this year, 2019, Taiwan government, we provide more than 7,000 tons of rice to Tzu Chi, and more than 4,000 tons of rice went to Africa. And next, I will show you how Tzu Chi they are doing their work. This is the map showing the affected area, including 3 countries, Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Mozambique. And this is their work plan. To some, actually, to most cases, I have to admit that Tzu Chi are even more efficient than our government. They even have free clinic. They even have lots of volunteers. And so far, Tzu Chi have collected donations from 55 countries in the world, and the number of countries is still growing. And next, I'd like to mention some challenges and constraints that we Taiwan NGO are facing today. The first challenge is short of funding. The character is so big is because this is a very serious challenge. Normally, the funding of Taiwan NGO comes from donation, government cooperation projects, and business income. But most NGO in Taiwan do not have business income. As for donation, it includes individual donation and the private sector companies' donation. But most individual donations go to religious-related NGO. And most NGO, they are not used to fundraising from private sector. Therefore, a lot of NGO rely on government cooperation projects. But I have to say, as I mentioned, every year, about 1,000 NGO came to my department asking for help. But the budget of my department has been cut year by year. Therefore, I will have to work harder to fight for more budgets in the coming year to cope with the challenge, which means I will have more gray hairs. And the second challenge is the separation from China, from PRC. As you know, Taiwan, we only have 17 diplomatic airlines. We are not a member of UN. We are not allowed to participate in any international organization under the UN umbrella, such as WHO, UNFCCC, and ICAO. But PRC does not stop there. They are trying to squeeze Taiwan's international space by forcing Taiwan NGO to change their membership name from Taiwan to Taiwan, China, or Taiwan, Province of China, and even pressure some country or organization not to accept Taiwan's help. For example, last September, when the earthquake hit Sulawesi in Indonesia hardly, resulted in about 200 people died. Taiwan was ready to provide humanitarian aid by using 2 C-130 transport planes to carry those staff to the affected area, but never got approval to take off. And another example is last May, when Taiwan, we were trying to donate $1 million to WHO to fight Ebola, but got rejected just because we want to use our name, Taiwan, to donate. So, in closing, I'd like to say that Taiwan NGO and the government, we are partners. We cooperate with each other to create a win-win-win situation for people who need help, for Taiwan NGO who want to help, for Taiwan government who can enhance its international visibility. And it is very important for Taiwan to participate in the international community and its voice be heard. And in order to adapt to the challenges, Taiwan NGO and government, we will have to work harder to make more friends, to make sure that we will be able to continually contribute to the international society. Once again, it's an honor to be here, and I thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Lai. This was very informative, and you've given us a lot of items to think about. And I want to leave a question with you too, to brew over, so you can give us some light at the end of the, after Ms. Futhi. We'll follow the same order. And you have constraints that you have referred to. And I'd like to ask you if you can throw some light on the criteria that you use to tackle projects that you have in future. Because we have come here as friends, and we are coming here to open doors and windows, hopefully, and to the continent of Africa, which, by the way, is going to have free border in the Africa Free Trade Zone concept. So for Ms. Rebecca, if you hear me, you say love without borders, that's the continent of Africa, because there'll be no borders. You can just take all the love you can, and it will be exported within the continent easily. So with this opportunity, I think, for Taiwan and the Taiwan-Africa exchange program we are talking about, what is the criteria that you would tackle certain projects of humanity that are really now in need? And we have a list of areas that are there, and like to have your input in that area. But thank you so much for your diligence and what you have imparted to us. Our